guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hello and welcome. I am Taylor. I'm a stay-at-home mom of 2. Today I'm going to be sharing with you something that I haven't done before, and it's kind of like a meal prep video. I don't do a lot of meal prepping, but I do prep like the fruits and vegetables that we buy. And today was grocery shopping day, so I thought it'd be a good day to do that. And I went to Sam's Club yesterday, so I have a lot of meat that I need to portion out, and I'm actually going to go ahead and cook some of it. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys all of that. So to start off, I'm just rinsing my vegetables. I've got some cucumber and some squash and some bell pepper and some broccoli. And I'm just going to rinse all of those with some warm water and give them a good scrub with my hands. And then I also have some strawberries over here that I'm also going to wash. But for those, I like to use cold water and some vinegar and just let them soak in a bowl for 5 to 10 minutes. And I just kind of stir them around every so often because you would be surprised at how dirty these things are. And then I like to use the container that the strawberries came in to store them in my fridge. So I go ahead and rinse that as well so it's clean. Once I've let the strawberries sit for a little bit in that water, I'm going to drain them, and look at how much dirt was just in that bowl. But I rinse them again with cold water and just let them dry for a little bit. And once they are dry, I'm going to put them back in this container from the store. I like to line the bottom with some paper towels to just absorb any excess moisture, and then I also like to put a paper towel on top of them as well. We're going to move on to prep the rest of our vegetables. I'm only going to prep one of the cucumbers because sometimes it takes a little bit of time for the kids to actually eat through it. So I just peel most of the skin, and then I use my mandolin slicer on the thickest setting to slice them because it's a lot faster than chopping them by hand. And then I just put them in a Tupperware container. Next, I'm slicing up my bell pepper, and I just go around it like this with my knife to get all the green parts. And then I'm going to be using this little dicer. I bought this because Mandy in the Making has it, and it actually works really well. And I use the smallest one to dice these green peppers. And then I'm also going to do the same thing with my onion. You just have to chop the onion and the green pepper into pieces, and then you can put it in there and it'll dice it nice and finely. Make sure you get all the skin off of the onion, because if you don't, it won't cut it properly. As you see, I had to take some more skin off because I didn't get it all off. I'm chopping these for chili that we're going to be having later this week, so that's why I'm putting them together, because they're just going to go together in the chili. So I'm going to put those in a Tupperware container for that chili. Next, I'm cutting up the broccoli, and I'm just cutting this up pretty small. We are going to be using this for a sheet pan dinner with some tilapia and some other vegetables. So I'm just going to chop it all up and put it in another Tupperware container. Next, I've got some carrots, and we just prefer regular whole carrots versus baby carrots, and they're way cheaper. So I go ahead and peel these all up, and then I'm going to be slicing some thinly for that sheet pan dinner, and then the rest I'm just gonna cut into sticks for snacking. Here.
That was scary.
Give this one to your brother. Next, I've got some celery, and this is actually like ready to eat celery that I buy at the grocery store, but it had been in the fridge for a little bit and the ends were starting to dry out. So I went through and I cut off all the ends, and then I just cut them in half to make it easier to just grab some out. And then I would just put them back in the bag. And for my carrots and my celery, I like to keep a wet paper towel in there with them. Otherwise, they will dry out. Next, I'm prepping a couple apples. I've got like 5 or 6 apples here, and I'm using my little apple core thing and slicing up all the apples. And then I'm going to put them in a big bowl of water with half of a container of the concentrated frozen orange juice. I'd already used the other half when I had prepped some apples previously. And 4 tablespoons of lemon juice, and then, as I said, just fill the rest with water. And then these are going to sit in my fridge for about an hour, and I'm going to stir them occasionally. And I find that the apples don't really brown, and they stay not brown for quite a few days in my fridge, and the kids like the way they taste. After the apples are done soaking, I drain them and then I bag them up into little portion-sized baggies with about 5 or 6 apple pieces in each bag. Now we're moving on to the meat. So I had like 10 pounds of ground beef from Sam's Club and like 7 pounds of chicken from Sam's Club. So I'm just going through and I'm going to bag it all up. And I learned a tip from my dad, and that is, like, with your Ziploc bags, if you roll the top down, it makes it easier to put the meat in the bag. And then you're going to want to like flatten it out, and that makes it easier to stack them in your fridge, but they also thaw out faster that way. So I'm dividing up all the meat, and I'm taking 3 pounds of it, and I'm actually putting in this pot over here, and I am browning it because we're going to have spaghetti for dinner this night. So I just decided to go ahead and brown some up, and then we're also going to be having chili in the next couple of days. So 2 pounds of the meat is going to be for that. So just browning all of that together. Now for the chicken breast, I'm going to go ahead and trim off any fatty pieces on the chicken, and then I also am going to slice them in half horizontally so that the chicken breasts are thinner. Then they'll cook faster, and we just like it that way. We usually end up slicing the chicken breast in half before each dinner when I make it anyway, so this just saves me a step. And then when I'm done, I take a Sharpie and I write how many pieces of chicken are in each bag. Once the ground beef is all browned, I'm going to drain it, and I learned this tip from I don't know who, but if you take a piece of foil and you put it in a bowl, then you can drain your meat over that bowl, and then once the grease like solidifies, you can just ball up that foil and throw it in the trash. And then, as I said, I cooked up 3 pounds of ground beef, so I am putting 2 pounds in one container for the chili and 1 pound in the other container for the spaghetti for this night. And then I'm just going through and labeling everything that I prepped for meals. So some of it is for chili, so I went ahead and took some masking tape and wrote chili on it and put it on the bowls. And then some of it was for the sheet pan dinner, so I wrote that on there just so I know what's for what. This is all the dishes that I have to do now since I got everything meal prepped. Fun. Okay, and here's everything in the fridge. We've got like most of the veggies over here, stuff that's prepped and labeled, all that in there. Lettuce that we already had on hand, squash and the extra cucumber are down there. Carrots for easy snacking, all extra lettuce. And then over here is most of the fruit. Cucumbers are on that one down there. Some grapes we had from last week. Some strawberries we had left over from last week. All of the new strawberries. And then the meat that I prepped is up there. And then all of the other meat that I packaged up is in the freezer. And that is going to be it for this meal prep video. I really hope you guys like this.
It's something that I've never done before, and if you guys do like it, maybe I can do it more often. If you're new here, I'd love it if you subscribe down below. Leave me a thumbs up. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye!